Good morning, everyone. I just grabbed a good amount of firewood, loaded it up in my wagon, and I used the lawnmower to pull it over here. I'm going to use that Amazon box to start our fire, and this is all super dry. I've had it for like 3 years under that tarp. High quality hardwoods, lots of maple and birch in there. So we're going to manually walk that over here to our meat smoker. Look at this tree. Look how that twisted. It's still alive. It's pretty recent. It's not stuck up there very well. That'll probably be falling soon, and that'll be our next campfire. And look at this one, how that one broke. And look at this one. This one's still alive and it's healing. But this is our meat smoker. I've made videos of this before. Made a video of making it. We even camped out here one time. We have a nice mossy pad right there. Perfect place to camp. We got the cap up top, so water doesn't get in there. We gotta get that off, because we gotta get this out, which is blocking the chimney hole. Open on up our smoker. We have in here those pieces of rebar that we can put a grate on, because I have used this to smoke chicken legs and chicken wings before. Up top is where we're gonna hang different types of meat. Today, I bought a whole bunch of meat. We're gonna have a little barbecue while the weather's still pretty decent for the end of October. And we open the bottom part. We're gonna load this whole thing up with wood all the way up to the top. Light it on fire, a couple hours, we'll come back. It should be burned down to some nice coals. And that's when we dump in our super wet smoking wood and we seal it up for the better part of the day. Come back this evening. We're gonna have some beautiful smoked meat. Today I went out to the store. They had some brisket, which is a really expensive meat, half off. I also got some cheaper meat that I love, like pork belly, has a lot of fat. And we also bought pork butt, which I've never bought before. It was cheap, so we're gonna throw that in here too. A couple other things I'll show you in the kitchen, but first let's load it up and get this thing started. So this tank I got with my house because it was originally propane, and after I bought it as an abandoned building, I asked AmeriGas, who used to own this, do you want your tank back? And they tried to get me to pay for the previous occupant's bill, so I made a smoker. I did not expect that cardboard, those couple of boxes, to fill us up like a third of the way, but that'll crush down fast when we light it up. As soon as I started throwing wood in there, that really crushed the cardboard down to basically nothing. Now that it's half full of wood, we still got a lot more over there in the wagon. We're gonna light it up, see how it does. All right, we got that going. So I had someone in my comments ask me when I would do another camp with this smoker. I'm not camping with it today, but they gave me some good ideas, and I had someone else also want me to make another barbecuing video. So with something like this, it takes a while to perfect it. Actually, the first time I ever used it, it came out perfect. Last time around, I overcooked everything, so this time we're gonna be more on it. I use this over here to help me out. Put a little bit of charcoal ignition in there, lighter fluid. You see, most of my trees here are evergreen, balsam fir. They're not really good for making hot coals. They're not good for heating your house. They're really only good for campfires. So I buy this stuff green the year ahead of time at half the price. I tarp it and let it season on my property. And then it burns really good for heating the house, doing this sort of thing here. I think that's gonna catch fine. All the cardboard is starting to go. So with a smoker, you want to have it at relatively cold temperatures when you put your food in there for a prolonged amount of time. And that's why I use that metal bowl to block the hole up on the top of it, so there's very little airflow when you're actually smoking stuff with it. This is my poker stick right here, and I haven't used this in a while. There's a lot of rust fleeking off of the rebar right now. But this heat should take care of everything. Super thick tank. This thing should last me a pretty long time. But we haven't had really too many fires this summer because it was a super dry year. They had fire bans up. They'd give you a huge fine if you had one, even on your own property. But the fire bans are pretty much like a checkerboard. Some areas were very strict. Some areas didn't enforce it at all. But it's been raining a lot this week, so if this thing starts shooting sparks up into the trees, I don't have to worry about it at all. Everything right now is super damp and waterlogged. I can tell there's some moisture under that tarp. But once this thing gets going, it shouldn't stop. Alrighty, I stepped away for about 10 minutes and we came back to a good flame that is not cardboard or lighter fluid supplied. That stuff's burning well now. Now we gotta go prepare the meat while we wait a few hours for this to singe on down. And when it singes down to just hot coals, you put the meat in there, and then we're gonna take our damp wood that's been soaking in here for nearly 12 hours. And that's what it is. We don't need that box. Well, that box is gone. Our temperature gauge is still functioning, even though we haven't used this in a while. All right, I'm in the house, and this is what we're going to be making out there today. So these look like they're going to be delicious. We're just going to stick a hanger through both of these and hang them up in there. I got this right here is brisket, a more expensive meat. Now, I did not pay that price. When I got up to the register, it was further discounted down to $36. Ooh, that scared me, the cat meowing. I'll show you what that is in a minute. I also got this one right here that was discounted a little bit lower, hidden savings. So this right here is pork belly. It has a lot of fat. It really absorbs that smoky smell, and it will be delicious if you're someone who likes fat. I'm also trying pig butt. So we're going to see if this is any good. And that was also slightly further discounted. So on all this meat here today that I got at the store, I spent about $110. But we got family coming over. We got a couple of the officers from town coming over too. They helped me out earlier this year with someone I was messing with my properties. So they're going to come over and help themselves a little bit to the barbecue. And I am a prankster. That cry you just heard, I bought this thing because it's hilarious. You plug it into any phone charger. You can hide it like behind a bureau in someone's house. It can make random noises forever until it's found, or one meow every 60 minutes, but someone's going to learn it's every 60 minutes and be on the lookout. Random, it might wait a day. It might do it a couple times in an hour. I have that plugged in just to see if someone notices it tonight. So these are my homemade meat hangers. You jam it through the meat, then you hang it inside the smoker. Got a whole bunch of them. I got some plates right there. About to wash my hands off before I touch these. These are already nicely seasoned, so those will stay in the package until the barbecue's ready. This one right here, should I cut it in half or should I hang it as a big whole? I'm not sure yet. This one I think I'm going to cut in either 2 or thirds. I'm going to season each piece of it a little bit differently. And this piece right here, I can't tell if that's just a bunch of pieces or all one big chunk. But I'm probably going to cut that in half also. Alright everyone, so I put a whole bunch of seasoning on these. I wash my hands between every step so I don't touch these with raw juice fingers. But I'm going to pick these up and rub all that around the backside and everything. That's why I put an excessive amount of seasoning on these. I'm going to keep that piece whole. This piece I cut down the middle where the bone is still connecting it. I'm just going to hook around that bone with these. So this is my favorite kind of seasoning, whether it's steak or burgers. I gotta buy more of that. I put it here, and put it there, and I put it there. This I don't like as much. Apple and honey, put it right there. And I tried this one out a little bit, just on that piece. But I did this on plates. I'm gonna go ahead and just slide those in the fridge with some paper towels because they're kind of big, overlapping and dripping. But they're gonna go in the fridge for about an hour until the fire's ready. And once they're off the counter, I can clean this counter because I made a mess. But that looks delicious. All right, we're coming back out, and I'm greeted with the sounds of angry squirrels in the tree. Since I don't use this part of the yard often, they're not used to me, so they're mad. Brought my gloves out, makes it a lot easier to reach in there when I'm hanging up the meats. We've been going now for about 35 minutes or so. It's gonna take a while. You gotta wait until the flames are gone. You just want glowing, hot red coals. Then when you hang your meat up, you throw that in real fast, shut the doors, block the chimney. Just made a quick modification because people were right, the complaints I got in the last video. So I had those pieces of rebar there to hold the metal grate if I want to grill with it instead of smoke with it. Up there was a piece of copper pipe. I now put a piece of rebar there. Copper, people said, is bad because it's going to get in your food. I don't really think so, but copper gets soft when it's heated and all the meat sags and touches each other in the middle. That will stay straight under the weight of the meat. To get that out of there, I had to break it because I had sent it through and bent the ends so it couldn't slide out. And when I bent the ends, it got big and it couldn't slide through the hole. So I just back and forth and snapped it off, got it out of there. Now, I really like this idea that someone in my comments had. To do this, we're probably looking at about $1,000 just for the pipe. Someone said, what if I bought an 18-inch diameter culvert pipe, bolted it to the top of there so it had a really tall smokestack, and then put up tarps on all these trees to block the wind, and just make it into a huge hot tent while I'm smoking. That's pretty cool, that idea. I really like that idea. But a culvert pipe that's 18 inches, I wouldn't need a full piece. They come in 24-piece sections. I could probably get a piece of scrap that's maybe 10 feet tall, maybe $500. I will keep that idea in mind. I really do like that idea. I have a lot of trees here. I could tack up tarps, make a roof. That'd be kind of cool. I like that idea, actually. All right, everyone. We are almost to the point where there's no flames. I'd say in the next 20 minutes, we'll be able to start this. Look at all that meat. This is gonna be a good barbecue. When this is about an hour from completion, we're gonna start the charcoal grill so we can make burgers and sausages on top of that. Now this right here, let's grab this log right here. I need both hands to do this. Put you down for a moment. There we go. So that's just gonna dribble out any excess water in the next 20 minutes so we can throw that in there and start creating smoke. That wet wood is not supposed to burn, it's just supposed to smolder in here the rest of the evening. So smoking good meat can take anywhere from a couple of hours to over a day, but we plan on doing this for about 5 hours today. All right, everyone, let's do this. First thing I'm gonna do is put the bowl back up, blocking the chimney. Put some weight on that bowl, that's what we just did. Alrighty. Here's our wet wood. Making some smoke. Warg. Wow. I lost this one down to the fire, but I saved it. It slipped out the hanger. That should be fine. Ooh, I gotta go wash my hands off. I'm just gonna wash them off real quick on this moss because I want to show you this real quick and close it up. Take a look in there. We're gonna smoke some good meat. That piece that fell down, thankfully I was able to save that. Now let's let it build up heat and smoke, kind of smother itself out. We will keep an eye on that temperature gauge the rest of the afternoon. And that's about it. Let's go get the charcoal grill also ready for tonight's barbecue. We got good thick smoke coming out. It's been about a half an hour. We're making sure that this thing stays. You see, that's actually okay that it's at 200. You might say that's a little bit cold, but the inside, I guarantee you, is a lot warmer than that because you got a breeze going by that, and it's on the outside. So we're doing good. We're not going to open this up for about a couple more hours. Don't want to let the heat out or anything like that. I made a pumpkin carving video a couple nights back. They're starting to shrink a little bit. Those big tea lights will run actually the entire night. I like them. Here's our jack-o'-lanterns. We'll light them up. It's going to be dark in a couple hours. And this is my little charcoal grill. I'm going to light it up, scrape off the debris. And this thing you can fit, if you just have burgers, I fit 6 of them in there. I've squeezed them in there. But I love this tiny little stove. I love that. Kind of thinking about starting the wood stove today. It's not the coldest day, but I do like playing with it, and I'm waiting for colder weather. But in the month of October, we can either feel like summer, which it did the first week of October. I even went swimming in Moosehead Lake. It can also snow in October, and I'm hoping it starts getting cold, but it's not quite yet. I really want to play with this wood stove and start harvesting and splitting firewood. I love the whole process. The smoker's actually pretty deep in the woods. I've thought about moving it closer to the house. It was just out here because I was using this as a little campsite. It's still going good after a couple of hours. Just coming out to check on it. I'm gonna open it up and see what it looks like. I brought out some garlic bread that I'm gonna just eat while I hang out here. Woo, look at all that. Let it clear for a moment, then we'll shut it up again. Just want to take a look at the meat. Oh, it combusted. You know it's still hot in there if it combusted. Let's just get some of that smoke out of there so we can take a better look. Wow, that's starting to look good. Look at that meat. It's looking good in there. That is looking really delicious, actually. Okay, close that up. That fire will smother back to smoke in a couple of moments. All right, everyone, it's in the evening now. It's starting to get dim. Before we take this out, I want to have a test subject. So I'm going to get my gloves on now. I want to remove one of the fat pieces, bring it over here, and if it's fully cooked through, everything's coming out. All right, I got my gloves. Give that a moment for the smoke to clear. It's probably going to flare up. Every time I've looked at it today, it'll flare up. It's still very hot, the coals. This is the biggest piece right here. If this is cooked through, then I'm going to say everything's cooked through. We got to cut into this. Then I'll put it back in there. I can tell by the way it's jiggling, it is certainly very tender. I just want to cut into one of the thick pieces and see what's in the middle of it. All right, the middle of that does not look cooked. So this piece will have to sit in there for a couple more hours. But some of the smaller pieces we might want to take out now. We got a little bit of flames in there. All right, now this is brisket. I think that is probably done after 5 hours. It's only about 2.5 inches thick. All right, let's smother that fire, let that keep smoking. This, I'm gonna get a small cut into it. And I think we're gonna take everything out except the pig butt. Look at that piece of meat, that looks beautiful. Oh, wow, it's so tender. Wow, it's so tender. Wow, look at that juice in there. That looks beautiful. All right. We're going to take everything out, but we're going to leave the pig butt in there for a while. Give it a moment, get the smoke out of there again. And we'll leave that other piece uninterrupted, probably 3 more hours. All right, I got a little bit of grease on these, but we'll wash those when we're done. This I'm gonna bring back in the house actually, because some animal's probably gonna want to lick that off. But we're gonna leave that big piece in there. Everything else I think is done. It looks beautiful, beautiful caramel color. This one might be a little well done, a little overcooked, but these look perfect. That big brisket is perfectly, beautifully juicy. That's what I like to see. Let's bring it inside and slice some of this stuff up. All right, we are inside now and slicing it. This is the pork belly pieces. They look beautiful. The caramelization is awesome. I love pork belly because it's very, very fatty. Delicious. These ones right here were the ones that were pre-seasoned. Because they were smaller, they came out a little bit dry. but still good. The brisket also came out amazing. I already had a piece of that. Perfect. Let's give this one a try. I haven't tried this one yet, actually. It looks a little dry. No, it's actually good. This all came out actually really, really good. All right, everyone, it's time to eat. We got the charcoal grill going too. We got some burgers about to come in. We're going to enjoy our food now, and the pig butt will be in here in about 3 hours, and I'll show that. Wow, this piece is a perfect medium rare, and look at it oozing oils. I just cut that like 30 seconds ago. This piece is going in a freezer bag, and it's going to be kept because that's an expensive cut. I'm also going to freeze a bunch of this stuff right here also. All right, now that we're done eating, these are going in the freezer for another day because even with 4 people here, we cannot finish all this. All right, it's later in the evening. Letting my eyes adjust out here. We're still smoking. I hear it dripping and going tss in there. I still see red coals down there. Wow, look at the fat dripping out of the piece I cut. I still don't think it's done. We're gonna leave it for even longer. All right, everyone. It is a few hours after dark. Feels really cold out now. Feels like we could even get a frost. But look at that, we're still going good. We got this thing going good. Still up to a good temp. If that's showing almost 200, you know it's gonna be over 200 in here. So this we let go for nearly 3 hours more than everything else. It's gotta be cooked now. So we're gonna grab that hook and we're gonna bring that in. Now, can I open the firebox? Sometimes that's tricky and you gotta pry it open when it's heated up because the metal expanded. But that will probably combust into flames in the next couple of minutes. And I'm just gonna leave the door open so it can burn out. Yep, a couple minutes later, combusted into flames. The stuff that we got making smoke. We added a couple pieces of maple because the smoke kind of stopped earlier in the day. And when I mean earlier in the day, I put those chunks of maple in there like 20 minutes after the smoking wood. And those stayed in there, so that was good. That's what's been smoldering and smoking. But in my opinion, no matter what kind I use, if it's applewood, hickory like we use today, or maple, I cannot tell the difference. I really can't. Look at those streaks of grease coming off that. That looks kind of cool. All right, here's a close-up shot. That looks really good. Now let's cut a couple pieces so we can see what's inside there. All right, I just cut a few pieces and that looks amazing. That is thoroughly cooked all the way through now. And look up there. Look at the grease coming out. It's just so juicy. You can literally see the juices coming out of my cut. Look at that. If we look at that close enough, it kind of reminds me of looking at a microscope slide and all the little organisms moving around, doesn't it? Kinda. Look at that. It looks like an up-close microscope slide. That's kind of cool. You can hear that the dogs really want it. They really want a piece. They will get a piece in a moment. But I think everyone else is full. That was a lot of meat. And when this cools, it'll go into the refrigerator. But today's meat smoker was a success. Just keeping a closer eye on it, it all came out beautifully. Alright, we're coming back out shortly after. My stomach feels like it's about to burst. We had so much smoked meat today. This was really, really juicy, this one. Now we're just going to let that burn out. I wish we had more stuff to put in there. But we're going to let it go out. Clean up my little area. And thank you everyone for watching to the end of today's video. I hope you liked it. Have a great day.